Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time. The time that everyone's been waiting for, sitting on the edge of their seats all weekend. We have seen the pros, we have seen the pro-ams. It's time for our feature race, the fastest of Africa, looking to do battle. We have got 36 cars entered. We have got a driver all the way out from Madagascar, Alexander Ritzikosol, going to be racing in amongst our pros, representing Madagascar. And we have a absolutely monumental field here racing. We do have our live streaming out for our live timing, and also we're going to be having a bit of fun. Welcome to Kyalami. My name is Stephen Kernick, and welcome to the MSA Africa Cup Esports, the first ever, the inaugural running of this race. And just want to give a bit of a look to the Grand Prix circuit of Kyalami. Turn one, a right-hand kink that is really going to challenge people. 15 degrees turn angle that's going to really battle out before they head into Crowthorne. That's where we'll see a lot of our drivers really go and sink their teeth in to ensure that they can get to the front of the pack. After that, they will make their way, snaking their way up to Barbecue, where we saw quite a few incidents coming in where guys are dropping a wheel off on the dirt, throwing themselves into the wall on the inside. But if you can survive that, you head out to Sunset, where it's all about getting the momentum, powering your way through, charging up to Clubhouse, hard on the brakes, throw it into the left-hander, making your way through the S's, up to Leerkop, then down the mine shaft, 320 kilometers an hour into Crocodile, hard on the brakes, and try make your way through without running too wide. Get all the momentum through Cheetah to final corner Ingwe to be the major run for it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's head down to the circuit where our feature is doing the qualifying times. This is going to be monumental. Eric Kirstein currently out leading the pack. Then we have got Tariq Adam, Fleming Bauer, Jordan Sherritt out on the circuit with his brother Cody Sherritt. It's been a while since we've seen these two battling out together. We've got Fafirs in 6th place, Jude Neville in 7th, 8th, Henry Mayer, Sean Skitter in 9th, Ulrich Sickers in 10th, 11th, Paul Fenter, Carl de Witt, Ronaldo Boersma, 14th position, Ryan Barrington-Smith, Isam Domingo, Cameron de Bastos, along with SESL's Sharks Vermillion, Zar Essa, Johan Krobler, Johan van der Merwe, Savasov, along with Jason Farmer, Michael Schultz, Mahaith Musa, Hendrik Heisman, Luke Addison, Andre Rixel, Hannes van Veek, Chris Heineke, Bernard Barkhazen, and Grant Findlay, rounding out our field. 32 cars taking to the circuit for the final time. This is going to be an epic fight. Lots of little things have gone into putting yourself into this position. A couple of people asking, how come guys are picking the Astons so much. It's well because the Astons are very strong on the circuit for the BOP, and that's why we see so many of them out charging to the top. At the moment, Tariq Adam with the fastest lap time, a 140.030, and second place is Johan Grobler with a 140.6, representing out for the Hybrid Academy, chasing down the Genesis team. This is going to be a proper run. Ronaldo Boersma back out on the circuit. Ryan Barrington-Smith on track with Zar Esser. And I do want to point out, Zar Esser and Jordan Sherritt were part of the original top runners that you wanted to go for in the world of sim racing come 2020. They were the bar to hit. And now we have got drivers taking the fight to them. Cody Sherritt's out there looking to get one up on the likes of Jordan to say, hey, listen, you might be fast, but I can be faster. No more living in the shadow of my brother. Jan van der Merwe out on the circuit representing the ZRC team, and Jacques Vermillion out for the Logistical Nightmare Racing, looking to power it to the top. Paul Fenter also making his way around the circuit, hoping to put himself into the top 10 and fight it out for first place. Cody Sherritt taking the top spot with a 139.7 as it stands. Tariq Adam going into second place. He will need to really dial it up. Bernard Barkhuizen currently in third. The lap times at the moment is a 140.6 for him. Oh, I got to get this right. A 140.637. Johan Grobler, a 140.645. I mean, these times are so close to one another and on the brink of at the fastest that any of the cars can go. Any mistake at this level will end up with your car written out of the picture. This is the fastest of Africa that are looking to take the fight to one another. And by the end of this race, ladies and gentlemen, by the end of this weekend, in this feature, we will crown the first ever MSA Africa Cup Esports champion. That means that you have defied all the odds. You have really stuck it to the top of the pack and put yourself in the top of Africa for 2024. That is a level that everyone is going for. There's no teams in this race. No. There is support coming from the crowd, but out on circuit, only one can wear the crown. So who's going to be able to get it? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for joining us out there in the grandstands. Good to see you all, and good to see a couple of our Pro-Ams that have just done their race, our Ams that did the race last night, and also all the spectators that have been joining us all weekend. This event runs parallel with the Africa Karting Cup that is happening at South Africa SWAT Corps. And I do want to point out they are going to be crowning the Africa Karting Champion, which is no easy feat. That means that you are the best of the best in karting in Africa. We running this event parallel with them, broadcast it out to the world, much like theirs. And this event signed off not only by MSA and all the ASNs in Africa, but it's also signed off by FIA as well, the main governing body for motorsport in the world. Jordan Sherritt with a 139.400, Cody Sherritt with a 139.577, and Tariq Adam with a 139.707. Luke Addison in the top four with a 139.792. Bernard Barkhuizen in fifth place, looking to fight it out. Now, a lot might be saying, well, you're the fastest of the fast. You got to just keep it all together. Well, not only that, they've got an hour and 30 minutes of racing to do. 2 mandatory pit stops. So no matter where you qualify now, just means how you're going to fight it out through the pack. Are you going to really get it out there and pull away, or are you going to be stuck fighting for the first couple of minutes before everything settles down? And this is what every driver is going to be thinking about in their heads. They're going to be discussing with everyone that is out there. And all that is watching. So, couple of drivers that are in the mix. Henry Mayer out in the McLaren. Kleinans in the Aston Martin. He's in 32nd. Inso Domingo still needs to put in time. So 3 drivers still unable to put times in at this point and trying their might to go and close down the gap to the front. At the moment, the first 4 are in the 39s from 5th down to 13th, which would be Mahath Musa. Sorry, Sharks Vermillion is also in it. The 140s from 5th to 14th. Then we move into the 141s, which I got to point out, we didn't see that in the AMs. We saw it once getting into the 42s and high 41s in the Pro-Ams. This is the top echelon of drivers out on the circuit for Africa, and they will be representing all the way from Madagascar. The only driver that is in the feature that is from Madagascar is Alexandra, who is going and representing his country against the South Africans. Great to see him out there looking to fight it out, and honestly going to be a proper run. This is going to be a race. So to everyone joining, a big thank you, a big welcome. Kira Jacobs, Mauro Sabato also being part of it, LC Joubert, Christian Deploy. Also, we've got I Am Feel, Mark Hanbury, who we just saw racing as well. Ethereality, Mark Wavern, and so much more out in the grandstands. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon as we get ready for the race. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go of this qualifying. Jordan Sherritt at the top of the charts as it stands. Paul Fenter in 7th position, still trying to make his way through, doing everything he can. When I had a chat with Paul Fenter, his answer was, these may be the fastest drivers in Africa, but what I'm seeing out here is the fastest drivers in the world, and we're about to put on a show that no one can catch up to us. So great to see the drivers really making their way through it. SESA's pulled off on the line, part of our ZRC team. Sorry, that's not SE, that was his teammate that was pulled off, and just allowing the cars to come through at the moment. All the drivers figuring out what they can do. Caldervit going and getting off track, unfortunately, and that will wipe out his lap time. Johan Krobler also trying to pull it back. He is right onto the back of one of the Genesis Esports cars and hoping to close down the distance at this point. Hard on the brakes, couldn't get it all hooked in for the S's, lost 0.2 of a second there. Sharks Vermillion up 0.2 of a second, 0.3 as he makes his way down the mine shaft. He is in 12th position, hoping to go and figure out what's going to work for him. This is going to be a proper run, but it won't be the end of it all. Zaessa up into 5th place, Bernard Barkhuizen into 6th, Ronaldo Boersma up into 7th, Kleinans into 8th position, Fleming Bauer in 9th position as it stands. So we're seeing drivers all going and switching their way through. Fleming Bauer going and trying to move up through the order. Johan Kleinans going and dropping down. Henry Mayer going and putting in a great stint. So Henry Mayer now up into 8th position. So let's see how it's going to work out for him as the qualifying goes. 1 minute 30 seconds of driving left to do for it. Jordan Sherritt at the moment in clean air to try and maintain the gap. Cody Sherritt just trying to utilize the tow of every car around him and hoping to just knock off at least 0.1 of a second at this point. Tariq Adam unfortunately went and invalidated his time. So it's going to be a proper run. Unfortunately, Sabata going and saying no Bentley. Yeah, unfortunately the Bentley just not up to the pace for our feature race, but we look forward to someone going and putting a Bentley up in this feature race come 2025. This grid is going to be a monumental run for everyone. Ronaldo Boersma dealing with Henry Mayer at the moment. Henry trying to make up some time. Jacques Vermillion also lying in 9th position, has got a bit of free air, so he's going to be trying to close down the gap to one of the Project Vapor cars just ahead of him. And that might be Issam Domingo. Yes, it is. Issam Domingo going and switching out from the usual BMWs he's so used to, now into the Aston Martin. So how this is all going to work out as they fight their way around the order. Jordan Sherritt putting in the fastest lap time once again, a 1:39.280. Blisteringly quick time. Cody Sherritt in second place, Tariq Adam in third, Zaessa in clean air for the very first time in this qualifying session. Oh, can he keep it all together? Did that invalidate the time for him? He's 0.2 up on his last lap time. Luke Addison also 0.1 up on his last lap time. The drivers doing everything they can to eke out that one little step, trying to get at the top. This is going to be a monumental run. Luke Addison going and being content with that 5th place. Jan Krobler in 6th. Bernard Barkhuizen still pushing as hard as he can. Ryan Barrington-Smith in 15th position, now looking to make up his amount of time. 0.2 up on his last lap time. Will it be enough to go and move up through the order? Zaessa coming around and validates his lap time. He's going to be stuck in 4th position at this point. Only cars still circulating is Bernard Barkhuizen, who's now made his way through. Ryan Barrington-Smith, who's gone through Cheetah. He's 0.2 up on his last lap time. 15th overall. Will it be enough to launch him into the top 10? He's going to go, he's going to go, he's going to go, and comes across the line, putting himself into 10th position right at the last. So, ladies and gentlemen, an absolutely stacked grid comes across the line, and we're about to see the best of the best in Africa representing their countries going and fighting it out right here at Kyalami. And I don't know about you, I'm excited. I can't wait. Nerves are on end right now. Goosebumps going and seeing all the drivers battling it out. 33 drivers representing their countries, representing themselves in this race. As I said, there's no teams out here. There's only you versus every competitor on the circuit. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we take a look to the grid, this is our feature. This is the fastest of the fast, and we're about to see them go racing. So let's go through our grid for the MSA Africa Cup Esports Pro feature race. This is our pro. Do apologize, looks like our timing got a little bit off there. Jordan Sherritt in first place, Cody Sherritt in second place, Tariq Adam in third, Zaessa in fourth, Luke Addison in fifth, Johan Krobler, Bernard Barkhuizen, Henry Mayer, Ronaldo Boersma, Ryan Barrington-Smith, along with Jacques Vermillion, Johan Kleinans, Fleming Bauer, Carl de Witt, Paul Fenter, Jude Neville, Eric Kirstein, Savasav, Unrik Sikkers, Johan Verveers, Issam Domingo, Mahayath Musa, Essieses, Sean Skitter, Hannes van Wyk, Grant Findlay, along with Johan van der Merwe, Jason Farmer, Chris Heineke, Michael Schultz, Cameron de Bastos, Indrek Heisman, and Alexander Ricasolo, going and rounding out the field all the way out from Madagascar, that will be representing his country here tonight. We so far had Namibians fighting for their honor, Madagascar fighting for their honor, and we look forward to many, many more. But the top of the pack, Jordan Sherritt, was quickest in the grading overall by at least 3 seconds over Cody Sherritt, who tried taking it to the pack. But once this race starts, 1 hour and 30 minutes, 2 mandatory pit stops, and only 1 crown to give it all. This is it. There can be only one winner, folks. Who's going to get it? And I want to see everyone out there, all the spectators shouting and cheering and being it on. I see Dylan Hall saying he's going and missing out the racing, but tuning in to watch and support the drivers. He wants to see who's the fastest of the fast in Africa, like many of the drivers before that will be fighting it out. And taking a look, Brandon saying Vincent Nell has power issues, so he landed up, would have been in the fight as well. So a couple of drivers looking to see what they can do. Who will be able to claw it through? We'll have one parade lap. And ladies and gentlemen, the parade lap will be the final parade lap for 2024 for the MSA Africa Cup Esports. And this is where tensions build. You can hear those engines starting to roar. You can hear the drivers getting ready to go. Jordan Sherritt leading out the pack. Cody Sherritt in second place. Tariq Adam in third. Zah Essa in fourth. It's been a while since Zah Essa has even seen the likes of Cody Sherritt and Tariq Adam, and even been next to the likes of Luke Addison. Jan Krobler in the mix as well. As now it's time, you can feel the tension. Warming up the tires, warming up the brakes. What is on the line right now? This is where you start taking away the thoughts of having your team around you. You take away the thoughts of the spectators standing on the grandstands cheering you on. For the millions and millions and millions that will be tuning in now and in the future, you take it all, you put it away, you put it to the back of your mind, and you're going to start concentrating on your moment. 1 hour, 30 minutes for one moment to walk away for the crown. This is a race, ladies and gentlemen, and I can tell you, this entire weekend in the world of esports, right through Africa, this has been the moment everyone's been waiting for. Talking about, whispers in the shadow, constantly finding out what's going to happen. Friends turn foe, representing countries. We've had our AMs put on a fantastic show. We've had our pro-ams show the pace. And now it has come to this. Ding dong, let's go racing. Down the mine shaft. Warm up those brakes, warm up those tires, and ladies and gentlemen, when I talk about the pace in this grid, the names in this grid, if you are new to the world of sim racing, you are seeing pretty much the Max Verstappens of the sim racing world lined up from Africa. You are seeing the fastest there is, all lining up on the circuit to do one more fight. For an hour and 30 minutes, we're about to see a fight that is going to make history. We're going to see a legacy cemented for 2024. And who will be able to take it amongst all these drivers? I love it. I love it. And yes, it does sound like I'm narrating a saga, because my word, this is going to be brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get on your feet. For the final time, we will be going green. And this is for the feature. This is the top of the top, the creme de la creme. Get ready to go green for the MSA Africa Cup Esports 2024. And away we go. Jordan Sherritt off to a launch. Cody Sherritt trying to go and get a little bit more of a jump. Tariq Adam going to come back at him. Zah Essa going to try and put himself in the middle. And Luke Addison also looking to get involved. Jan Krobler dealing with Henry Mayer, who's taken a big jump off the line. And he is closing down on the rest of the field. Side by side they go, heading into the likes of Barbecue. A bit of contact going on behind the scenes. And we have got a couple of yellow flags getting kicked up at the moment. Let's see what's gone on of who it was. That is from Bago Krobler. He got a little bit of contact. No, sorry, there's that Bago. That's Eric Kirstein. So Eric Kirstein was caught up in the trouble. 4 wide into turn 2. Didn't quite work out. Now it's traveling up towards the top. And it looks like it just landed up with a cascading effect. So unfortunately, couldn't catch the end of that one. But at the moment, Tariq Adam onto the back of Cody Sherritt. Luke Addison now fighting it out with Zar Essa, who gets contact. Johan Krobler, Bago Krobler getting contact with them. And now that dropped Zar Essa out of the fight. Bernard Barkhuizen moving up into 5th position behind Luke Addison, who's in 4th. Henry Mayer now fighting it out with Ronaldo Boersma at this point. Ronaldo doing everything he can. He's got Kleinans trying to make up a bit of time right behind him. Kleinans is going to keep pushing as hard as he can. Jacques Vermillion is going to get right behind him. And Carl de Wit also giving chase at this point. So this is going to be a monstrous run. And considering we have got 2 mandatory pit stops, even though drivers have had a problem now, they will be able to get their first of their pit stops out the way and concentrate on the second of their pit stops. So far, we have seen drivers push the limits of what each car can do. Jude Neville going and losing out to Fafirs in turn 2. He's able to get the drive once again. Alpha 1 versus the likes of Eleanor, both getting compressed. It looks like Fafirs getting a tank slapper. Issam Domingo coming into the fray of things. He's getting right behind them and will push it as hard as he can. He gets past Fafirs. He's going to try go around the outside of Jude Neville. He's not able to get around Jude Neville through Sunset as they carve their way through. Fafirs deep on the inside. Domingo locking in to try and force the like of Jude out, and does so. Comes across the nose. Jude now down a position, and that has also allowed the likes of Jason Farmer to get into the fray of things. So the Ferrari looking to fight it out with the Aston Martins. And now it is going to be a proper run all the way through. Side by side they go. Jude Neville and Fafirs are fighting out for 12th and 13th position. At the moment, though, leading out the pack is Jordan Sherritt, Cody Sherritt, along with Tariq Adam, Luke Addison, Bernard Barkhuizen, Henry Mayer, Ronaldo Boersma, Johan Kleinans, Jacques Vermillion, Carl de Wit, Issam Domingo, and Fafirs making their way through. Fafirs going and outbreaking himself, loses out through Crocodile, tries to return back onto the circuit and get going once again. So Fafirs now down the order, and we do have, looks like Jason Farmer losing it. He dives into the pits, getting himself sorted out. Zar Essa coming around him, and unfortunately that pit board getting taken out as Zar Essa needing to take some quick moves to get in and out through the pits. So at the top, Jordan Sherritt opening up the distance, 1.1 seconds away from Cody Sherritt. Tariq Adam trying to close down the distance to him. Luke Addison, Bernard Barkhuizen in 5th place, trying to close down on them. Henry Mayer in 6th. Ronaldo Boersma in 7th, 8th place. Jacques Vermillion with Carl de Wit immediately onto the back of him. Issam Domingo going and making up some ground. He has got Jude Neville trying to keep Fafirs at bay. Paul Fenter in the fray of things as well. Going to try and pull some shenanigans here out of Sunset. Couldn't get it all sorted out. Has to back off the throttle. And we got Michael Schultz. Stop go 30-second penalty for Zar Essa. Zar Essa got a stop go 30-second penalty, and that will also throw him out of the running for sure at this point, unless something goes horribly wrong at the top. Zar Essa's got a lot of work to get himself back into the top 10. And with the stop go 30-second penalties, essentially got a 3rd stop added to his time. And that is not going to work out for him. SESA's onto the back of Krobler just ahead, and Krobler was part of that contact with Zar Essa at the top of Learcorp. SESA's trying to make up some ground. Mahath Musa for the Project Vapor team in 17th position. Grant Findlay also trying to make his way through. A little bit of scuff marks on the front of that Aston Martin as he's been in a bit of a fight. Sean Skitter trying to move his way through the order. Hendrik Heisman going and fighting out. Hannes van Wyk, Chris Heineke also part of the fray. Representing all the way out from Madagascar is Alexandra, who is now trying to get a little bit more run. Johan Kleinans in 24th. Zar Essa in 25th. will need to serve his stop-go 30-second penalty. Cameron de Bastos fighting out with Johan van der Merwe. They were part of an earlier incident. And Seversav and Unrik Sikkers also needing to try and make up some ground. Unrik right behind the likes of Sav. Can he get it all sorted around Crocodile? Is it going to be enough? Very, very close, but Sav just cutting him off a little bit, running him to the fringes of the circuit. Proper running through the orders there as these two fights out. Another close battle going on. Mahath Musa going and dropping a wheel on the dirt. He loses out a bit of ground to SESAs, who's got Michael Schultz ahead of him, and Johan Krobler just ahead of that. Paul Fenter also on the charge. He's onto the back of Fiers and now trying to gain some ground. So this is going to be a proper run for Paul Fenter, who's going against the Alpha 1 driver of Fiers as they close down on Jude Neville, the LNR teammate, just ahead. And Jude's going to be saying, Paul, you got to get around this guy, buddy, and we got to get going. And Fiers just wants to keep everyone at bay as they fight their way through. So Paul's going to have to dig deep on this one if he wants to get by. Johan Krobler in the background, though, getting a few mistakes in. Maith Musa pulling into the pit, so he's getting himself sorted. And Johan Krobler, also known as Bago Krobler, now needing to try and deal with the fight. Paul Fenter looks on the inside of Fiers, dives on the inside, couldn't get it sorted out into turn 2. He's going to try and carry the pace right into the back of Fiers, going and hustling him along at this point, trying to make sure that he can get going. And I'm seeing yellow flags being shown for our number 20 car, and that would be Ryan Barrington-Smith getting into a problem. Let's take a look what happened to Ryan Barrington-Smith, one of our top runners for the South African sim racing scene. Drops a wheel on the dirt. He's able to keep it all together. Oh, massive tank slapper. Beautiful drift. Oh, just the ending wasn't quite what he wanted. Nearly had it. So close, yet so far. Side by side goes Paul Fenter and Fiers as they make their way through the S's. Now up to the Learcorp. It is going to be hard, braking all the way through. Late on the brakes. Paul Fenter just getting ahead of Fiers. Manages to eke himself out a spot. And now Fiers has got Johan Krobler behind him. Michael Schultz going and chasing him down. SES Days doing everything he can as well to try and get into this fight. Drivers focusing on this monstrous battle as they do everything they can, trying to make up some time. Tariq Adam in third place, closing down on Cody Sherritt, and actually starting to show a little bit of the front bumper, saying, listen, buddy, I'm going to come through soon. So be in mind with that. Hannes van Wyk, he's on to the back of Hendrik Heisman. That's his 19th and 20th position as it stands. But a couple of people actually going and pointing out that we talk about the sim racing, the elders of sim racing, the guys that overlook on the stuff, going and saying, Zah Essa, unfortunately, nope, not going to be your day at this point. Dropping him into 31st position, and he's having to just try and make up some ground on the rest of the field. So after a stop-go 30-second penalty and also the contact at the top of Learcorp, he is still going and keeping into the fray of things. A couple of drivers that have done their first pit stop is Kleinans that's done his first pit stop. Heisman next to the likes of Hannes van Wyk will be pushing to try and get going. It does look like the drivers trying to get themselves sorted with 10 minutes gone past in this race. Drivers figuring out what can work in their favor, what's going to be the strategies for the race. How can you get one up on one another? We do have our pit wall up with the live timing, ladies and gentlemen, and go take a look. That is in the description, where you're going to see Jordan Sherritt has done the quickest lap time of the race, a 1:39.905. Cody Sherritt with a 1:41. Tariq Adam a 1:40.2. Luke Addison a 1:40.3. Bernard Barkhazen and Henry Mayer still feeling close behind, and the drivers hoping that they can get a little bit closer. Ronaldo Boersma in 7th position. Jacques Vermillion going and fighting out in 8th, 9th. Carl de Witt, Essan Domingo Jude Neville in 11th. 12th is Paul Fenter. For Fears in the 13th position. 14th is Johan Krobler. Michael Schultz going and fighting it out with the likes of SESA's Sean Skitter getting into the fight. Grant van Daly also having a bit of fun. Hendrik Heisman along with Hannes van Wyk. Chris Heineke also trying to make up some ground. Closest battle on circuit is between our 19th and 20th position as it stands. Everyone's starting to get into a groove, starting to settle down and figuring out where it can all work. So as Heineke down into 22nd position, 21st position, do apologize, live timing just bouncing around all over the show, keeping track of all the action out there. Our drivers needing to figure out what they can do to move their way up through the order. And it is an outright charge between them all. Hannes van Wyk outbraking himself at the top of Leerkop will go and lose the ground down the mine shaft as they fight their way through. So as they claw their way down into the crocodile, does look up on the inside. Can he get it to sink in? Nope, couldn't. Heisman going and keeping a great run for the top. Jordan Sherritt out in front, managing to open a 4-second gap at this point, starting to make his way through the field, and will be looking to try and open up a bit more of a gap to Cody Sherritt, who's got Tariq Adam, who's looking to try and take the fight to him. Luke Addison not too far behind. Bernard Barkhuizen and Henry Meyer are in the fight as well, closing down on one another. Henry Meyer looking to take the fight to the likes of Bernard Barkhuizen. It's been a while since we've seen these two on the same circuit with one another. Good to see them out there. Close battle raging on at the moment is for Fears and Johan Krobler going and fighting it out. Krobler gets on the brakes, trying to get ahead of Fears. Couldn't get it all sorted out. Will have to back out of the fight into the S's. Krobler going and trying to recover after the earlier contact that did throw him down the order. But just ahead of them, they got Paul Fenter and Jude Neville. And these two are part of the Logistical Nightmare Racing umbrella. But I have been informed that there is no team orders. Actually, in their very own personal WhatsApp group, they were going and saying, I'm going to beat you no matter what. The drivers were going and calling each other out and saying, we're going to get ahead because there can only be one winner at the end of this. And now it's all or nothing. Every single one of these drivers representing their countries all up through Africa and also fighting it out for the top honors as they make their way through. Alexander in the pits getting himself sorted out. That will be going and losing out some time, unfortunately. Paul Fenter up on the inside going to get past Jude, under braking. Jude not going to fight that one, but will look for the undercut out of turn 2 as they make their way up through to barbecue. And the more that these two go and fight it out, they are allowing the likes of Fears and Krobler to get into the train as well. And this will start turning it into a 4-car train of some of the closest racing. So Paul and the likes of Jude need to start getting on the same page. Otherwise, they're going to have a Fears and a Krobler issue. As Krobler up on the inside, Fears is going to go deep on the inside into Clubhouse and makes it stick just at the last minute. Krobler going and having to back out of the fight there. Move into the S is going to try maybe at the top of Leerkop. Now, when you go up to Leerkop, there's this little crest. And you'll see there's a tree on the right-hand side. This big, you can see the big trunk that's sitting out on the right-hand side that's been there since Noah's Ark ran aground, I would call it. It is one of the braking markers, even in the real-world racing. Oh, a little bit of a bump draft there from Johan Krobler and Fears. They're going to go side-by-side, both of them not backing down from the fight, and that is going to allow Jude and Paul Fenter to start opening up the distance. But these two are going to war at one another for 13th and 14th position as it stands, and that is also allowing Michael Schultz and SESA's to start closing up the gap between them. So, at the moment, Jordan Sherritt leading out the pack. Cody Sherritt in second place. Third place, Tariq Adam, Luke Addison, Bernard Barkhazen, Henry Mayer, Ronaldo Brusma, Jacques Vermillion, Carl DeWitt, Issam Domingo, Paul Fenter, Jude Neville in 12th. 13th is Fafirs, Johan Krubler in 14th. 15th is Michael Schultz with SES Days right behind him. Sean Skitter in 17th has closed up the distance. Hannes van Vaken 18th. 19th, Edric Heisman, Chris Heineke, Johan Kleinans, Mahayath Musa in 22nd. 23rd, Grant Findlay, along with Cameron de Bastos trying to make his way through. In 24th position, Johan van der Merwe. In 25th, Ulrich Sickers, Jason Farmer, Fleming Bauer, Zai Essa still in the fight here, and now has Jordan Sherritt onto the back of him. Ryan Barrington Smith in 30th position. 31st is Alexander, and then Sava right at the back end of the field, doing everything he can to fight it out. This is going to be a proper run for the drivers, and it's all about who's going to be taking the crown at the end of the race. An MSA African Cup Esports event for 2024, where only the fastest of Africa are going to compete in the feature race and show what they can do representing their countries. We have had the AMs put on the show last night. We had our Pro-Am division going and showing this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Now we're into the main feature race. This is the pros. Lots of thoughts going through the heads at the moment. Couple of early pit stops, but I'm going to start shouting out to the spectators out there, to everyone that's on pit wall. Guys, I want to ask, when do you think the drivers are going to come in? We do see drivers in the last 15 minutes, last 10 minutes, they were able to get the pit stops done and dusted. But how close can the front running pack be able to maintain at this point? Jordan Sherritt getting past Zai Essa. Zai Essa, though, is going to keep in the toe of Jordan Sherritt and possibly just look to try and close up the gap, because Zai Essa is only 3 seconds behind Fleming Bauer at the moment, and Fleming is now going to be seeing Jordan Sherritt, but I don't think he's going to see Zai Essa starting to make up the distance. Ultimately, this is going to be a proper charge between them. Another battle starting to form is SESA, Sean Skitter and Michael Schultz. At the moment, Michael closing down on the two ZRC drivers. Sean Skitter not going to lose out too much of a run as he puts his nose in on the inside of Michael Schultz. Couldn't get it sorted out into Crocodile. Going to play follow leader through the likes of Cheetah. And Michael is a little bit slower than the rest of the pack, as Sean Skitter on his last lap time did a 41.7, which is quicker than both cars ahead of him. So he is going to figure out what's going to be worked for him. Dylan Hall going and shouting out all the way from SARCO, a sim racing league here in South Africa, and saying possibly the 45-minute mark will be the optimum time to get your first pit stop done and get it sorted. SES Days around Michael Schultz. That did compromise Michael's drive. Sean dives up on the inside and gets the pass on Michael. A little bit of a shuffle round landed up with Michael getting some time lost, and Sean now around the outside in the McLaren's going to chase him down, fighting their way through. Sean just ahead of Michael Schultz. So our closest battle on circuit, 17th and 16th position, and Michael trying to fight it out with Sean Skitter, but Sean now opening the gap, 0.4 of a second, and is chasing down SESAs. On the last lap, though, he was quicker than both Michael and Essie, so he's hoping that he can catch up to the major ahead of him. And our drivers fighting out. Early on, there was an incident where up to barbecue, a couple of cars got it unsteady, landed up in a bit of contact, and drivers needing to pull in the pits. Fleming Bauer, though, going and losing out the ground, does allow Zai Essa to get by. So what happened to Mr. Bauer? Number 24 car. of Logistical Nightmare Racing. Diving into turn 2, hard on the brakes, trying to get it all together. Did he get too early on the throttle with marbles? No, just completely went too wide, lost out the drive, and lost out of position in the process, and allowed Ryan to also gain a bit of time. Bit of sideways action coming from that McLaren. At the moment though, drivers starting to carve their way through the field and looking to put a couple of laps on the board to the rest of the pack. The Genesis team of Jordan Sherritt going and leading out the pack. Cody Sherritt, his brother, trying to do everything he can to close down to the likes of Jordan Sherritt. Tariq Adam still sitting in the wings at this point. Luke Addison in 4th place. Bernard Barkhuizen in 5th. Is in a little bit of no man's land. He's 5 seconds away from Luke Addison, but 2 seconds away from Henry Mayer, who you can just see in the rearview mirror. Henry Mayer keeping an eye on Ronaldo Bursma. Jacques Vermillion in 8th place. Caldervit in 9th. 10th is Issam Domingo, who is going to fight it out. Paul Fenter looking to close down on Issam Domingo. Belnar driver looking to chase down the Project Vapor driver as they make their way down the mine shaft into the Crocodile, and Jude Neville also staying within a fighting distance as well to them, so expect him to get into the fray of things quite quickly. 20th position, one of our closest battle on circuit, is Indrik Heisman and Chris Heineke. Heineke trying to make up a bit of time for the car collection Motorsport Porsche onto the back of Indrik Heisman of Chile Racing, who's trying his best to keep up the place. Kleinans, though, in 21st, is first of everyone that has done their first pit stop. So ultimately now it's going to be a monstrous run of who's going to work out their pit stops the best at this point. Everyone hoping to carry enough momentum and go as deep as they can into the race. And lots of speculations of when are they going to get by, and 45-minute mark, going that halfway mark, may be the one for our drivers to look at, and then the final 15 minutes to get the second pit stop. Zar Essa at the moment catching up to Jason Farmer, looking to put a bit of pressure on. And Zar Essa will look to close down the distance. Jason Farmer will have to get a little bit elbows out here, as it does look like Jordan Sherritt going and putting a wheel on the dirt. That's losing out a little bit of time, and mistakes can start creeping in. So Zar Essa and Jason Farmer going to start running a little bit nose to tail at this point. But remember, Zar Essa started out in 4th position. Now getting walked out to the fringes. Jason Farmer just going and baiting him out into a bit of a problem, trying to kill off that drive. But looks like a clean pass and up and going once again. So Zar Essa now hoping that Jason Farmer won't put up too much of a fight, but will utilize the slipstream and pull themselves along to close up the difference of 14 seconds to Ulrich Sichers ahead of him. Sean Skitter currently in a fight with SESAs, and we saw that Skitter, the ultimate opportunist, going and getting past the 2 ZRCs when they were switching around, and that cost them a fair amount of time. So he's hoping to close down the gap. Paul Fenter on the back of Issam Domingo, the Project Vapor duking it out with Paul Fenter. And I just want to point out, Domingo and Fenter have gone at each other in terms of joking around of who's going to beat who. And I remember there was a bet at one point that came in between Paul Fenter and the Project Vapor team. So he's going and out there to prove a point to get ahead of Domingo, who is fighting out for the Project Vapor team and really doing everything he can. Making their way up to Learcorp. Paul Fenter going to go a little bit late on the brakes. Big sin. Couldn't get it all sorted out. Domingo going a little bit later on the brakes. Is able to carry the pace through at this point. And Paul Fenter now in the tow, pulling himself along. So how this is all going to work for them as they make their way into Crocodile. Paul Fenter's going to lean on Issam Domingo as much as possible. Tries to go for the undercut. As side by side they go. Who's going to back out to Cheetah? Both are going to go side by side through Cheetah. Very, very brave on Paul Fenter and Domingo's part. Jude Neville saying, oh, well, I was going to close down on that difference, but that didn't quite work to plan. So far, 25 minutes completed of the race. Jordan Sherritt out in front of the pack, 6.7 seconds ahead. Cody Sherritt in second place, getting a little bit squirrely out of Sunset. And Tariq Adam going and putting a wheel wrong as well. Luke Addison trying to keep them within one another. Bernard Barkhuizen in fifth. Sixth is Henry Mader, Ronaldo Boersma, Jacques Vermeulen, Carl de Witt, and Paul Fenter is our top 10. Isam Domingo now has got a problem with Jude Neville onto the back of him. Now Jude's getting involved in this fight. One of our closest battles currently out on circuit. And Domingo not in a happy situation as they fight it out. And Dylan going and saying, Paul did a thing. It's amazing. Going and just giving a bit of spice, showing the old love to Paul Fenter, a long-term friend as well. No shenanigans going on there. Just taking a look, couple of cars making their way through. Essa getting ahead of Jason Farmer, who is now in the clutches of our second and third place. Cody Sherritt and Tariq Adam will be looking to try and get round them as quick as possible. Jason Farmer doesn't want to lose too much time as they make their way through, opening up the door, allowing the guys to go through, and doesn't want to lose that much time through turn 2. Sava has completed all his pit stops though, and Bauer is in the pits as well. So Fleming Bauer getting himself sorted out. That is a bit of a strange one for him. And let's see if we can go back. This was a yellow flag for Fleming Bauer, who is now in the pits. And let's see what happened to his drive. He was going after Jason Farmer, runs out wide. Here comes Jordan Sherritt, here comes Zai Essa. Does pull back onto circuit. And all looking okay. There's dropping a wheel on the dirt, allowing the guys to get through. Johan Krobler onto the back of Jude Neville. Jude now focusing on his review mirrors. This is 12th and 13th position that are fighting it out. All of them running to the edges of the circuit. It is going to be a proper run. Yep, Tim the cameraman still available, still showing and still doing what he does best. And also we cannot forget Jim, who goes and calls out all the voices as well. Big shout out to them. You know, the unsung heroes in terms of the world of sim racing. But our Kyalami marshals in virtual form. Isam Domingo, though, gets a spin at the top of Learcorp. What on earth happened to Domingo at the top of Learcorp? So this is Domingo. This is his view of everything that's going on through the S's, understeering, trying to really get that Aston to work with him. And at the top of the hill, what happened? Oh, he just outbraked himself, caught himself on the curb to the right-hand side. That unsettled him and threw the car around. Oh, we don't get to see those type of mistakes creeping in, but it just shows the drivers trying to utilize every bit of the circuit to try and move their way up through the order to find that 10th of a second that is necessary. But Domingo throws himself down into 13th position and has Fafirs now starting to close down the distance to him. Jude Neville dealing with Johan Krobler at the moment as they fight their way through. But a fight for the top of the spot. Tariq Adam and Cody Sherritt going and duking out. Tariq Adam is slightly slower than Cody Sherritt, but I think he is starting to get a little bit frustrated with Cody and looking to try and get going once again. So Tariq hoping to put enough pressure on the likes of Cody Sherritt ahead of him just to try and force a mistake. 0.3 of a second he is gaining on Cody Sherritt, and I'm sure there's going to be discussions of, listen buddy, you know, we're going and destroying our tires here. Luke Addison, who was 1.8 seconds behind them, is now closed up and got into the fray of things as well. So the fight between the drivers is starting to become a little bit more real. Side-by-side action, Krobler and Jude Neville going and taking on one another into Crocodile. Krobler not able to get past Jude Neville in the L&R. Aston Martin, the Logistical Nightmare Racing, will fight it out all the way through. And Fafier's in a fight with Domingo as they go into the final corner, running out wide, and it just looks like they're going to power their way through side by side, still into turn 1. This is the right-hand kink, then down into turn 2. Who's going to be later on the brakes, eyeing each other out side by side again. Fafiers and Domingo, no fear between the two. Fafiers runs out wide. Clark does go and lose out a bit of exit speed, and Domingo immediately onto the charge, goes underneath him, tries to go through the likes of Barbecue, couldn't get it sorted out, maybe into Clubhouse, but that is allowing SESAs to get into the fight as well. Essie closing down the fight and hoping to really take it on to the top of the charge. Over 31 minutes completed of racing. Jordan Sherritt still holding the top of the charts, with Cody Sherritt in second place, Tariq Adam in third, and the drivers really trying to force each other into some mistakes at this point. Tariq Adam not allowing Cody Sherritt any room to breathe, and if Cody does drop a wheel in the dirt, that will throw a bit of a spanner in the works for the Tariq Adam and Luke Addison cars that are trailing behind him. Jude Neville fighting out with Johan Krobler, doing everything he can to try and keep his position as they make their way through. So, let's go through the running order. Jordan Sherritt out in first, 8 seconds ahead of Cody Sherritt. Tariq Adam in third. Fourth place, Luke Addison, Bernard Barkhuizen, Henry Mayer in sixth. Seventh place, Ronaldo Boersma, Jacques Vermillion in 8th place. 9th place, Carl de Witt, Paul Venter in 10th. 11th is Jude Neville, Johan Krobler in 12th. 13th position is Jean Fafiers, Isam Domingo, SES, Sean Skitter, Michael Schultz, Hannes van Wijk, Johan Kleinans, along with Chris Heineke in 20th position, Maeth Musa in 21st. 22nd is Grant Findlay, along with Cameron de Bastos in 23rd. 24th is Johan van der Merwe, Ulrich Sickers, Zar Essa in 26th, Jason Farmer in 27th, and Hendrix Heisman in 28th. 29th is Ryan Barrington-Smith, Savasov in 30th, and 31st is Fleming Bauer as it stands. Drivers still hoping to carry the momentum through. It's going to be an outright charge down to the wire between them, and these two are the closest on the circuit as it stands. This will be a monstrous fight for Krobler and Neville that they will be taking home and putting some memories on for the race, because they want to close up to Paul Venter, who is just keeping ahead. Krobler getting off into the dirt out of Learcorp. He is really chomping at the bit to try and get past Neville at this point. Not able to do it into the Crocodile at the moment. And now, how much of the tires being worn down? A couple of drivers were talking about possibly going and switching out tires and being into a bit of get some new boots on the cars and go for the race. But with 2 mandatory pit stops, when are you going to do it? Speculation coming in at 45 minutes will be the first round of pit stops for our top 10, but that will only be seen in time with our drivers. Sean Skiddett trying to close down on SES and losing out a bit of time. Jude Neville getting the jump on Krobler, who got the pass into turn 2. Side by side they go into Barbecue, and just looks like Neville able to get a little bit more momentum than the likes of Krobler as it stands. Luke Addison now onto the back of Tariq Adam, will be looking to try and close down the distance and take that 3rd place spot. Remember, only one can hold the crown for the MSA Africa Esports Cup, and at the moment that is Jordan Sherritt. Cody Sherritt in 2nd place, Tariq Adam in 3rd, Luke Addison in 4th, trying his mightiest to go and close down on it. Bernard Barkhuizen in 5th. 6th place, Henry Mayer with Ronaldo Boersma in 7th. 8th place is Jacques Vermillion with Caldervet, Paul Fenter in 10th, 11th is Jude Neville with Johan Krobler immediately onto the back of him, trying to force a mistake at this point. Both drivers not giving an inch, and they are absolutely soaking in the fight, loving the monstrous run, sliding it around. Jude not going to back out from the fight with Johan Krobler. These two have come to blows many times in the past, and I think it's going to be one for the record books for them. Ronaldo Boersma, though, in the wall. Ronaldo Boersma losing it out, and he was up into 7th position. So what happened to Boersma? Because that throws him down the order, and it looked like it was in turn 2. All by himself, running out a little bit wide, maybe just not getting enough momentum. Bit of a snap oversteer on the McLaren, and that's all she wrote. Rolls back, waits for the drivers to get past, trying to straighten it up. And unfortunately, no space to really turn that car around. It's got the turning circle of a tank, and that puts him down into 10th position. We've also got yellow flags for Heinrich Heisman, who goes and drops off into the dirt. And that is, I think, through the S's and heading up towards Leerkorp that he got it wrong. Let's take a look at Heisman, who is now in 29th position. He had Ryan Barrington-Smith ahead of him. Oh, just a snap from the Porsche. He's able to bring it back in the dirt, though, and lose out a bit of time as he hops over the curb. That does kick the tail round once again. So not quite how he wanted it to work. Sean Skitter on the back of SESAs, who is trying to catch up to Issam Domingo ahead of him. Issam Domingo now trying his mightiest 3-car train, starting to build for fears going and opening up as they run. Ronaldo Boersma now into the pits. He's going to get his tyres sorted out, get himself back on track, refueled and going to try and push it for the last 52 minutes. They will still have to do one more pit stop as they fight their way through. Chris Heineke down in 20th position, though, still needing to do 2 stops. So he needs to really try and open up the spacing at this point if he wants to try get up through the field and not have his pit stops be the problems that wipe him out. Sean Skitter onto the back of SESAs, trying to make up some time into sunset, and no gap between the two of them. Essie having to really throw the Porsche out wide, a little bit too wide out of the exit sunset. Sean having to just come slightly off the throttle to figure out how he can get past. Monumental battles all the way through for our pro division. Cameron de Bastos now into the pits as well, so he's getting his pit stop sorted for the Panda City McLaren, and hoping that's going to be enough to carry his way through the race, because he only wants to do a splash and dash. SESA is getting caught up behind Domingo, who got a poor exit out of Leerkorp. Down the mine shaft they go. Essie trying to figure out what he can do to dive on the inside. Domingo not going to back out from the fight. Does hold that inside line. Runs out wide, so ensuring to create a little bit of error wash there. But another fight that we have been keeping an eye on. This is Jude Neville and Johan Krobler, and it does look like Krobler got the pass. Let's go back 30 seconds and see what happened between Neville and Krobler into our final corner. Through Crocodile into Cheetah. Ultimate way to keep it nose to tail. Krobler may have got the pace on the exit, as, oh, it does look like Neville got it all types of wrong out of Cheetah. Lost out the drive, and Krobler gets the pass, done, dusted, and away he goes. So that has moved Krobler up into the fray of things. He's gone past, and what a race for him. Cameron de Bastos getting overtaken by Fafirs, and now Domingo with SESAs, and Sean Skitter is going to say, look buddy, are we catching up to you, and you best go and listen to the blue flags. The faster cars are coming. You hold your racing line. You be predictable, but please don't fight, because there is no room for it at the moment. in this little train that has built up between SM Domingo, SES Hayes, and Sean Skitter at the moment. Hard under the braking at the top of Leo Corp. The Aston Martin looking a little bit more comfortable than the Porsche. McLaren of Sean Skitter still into the fray, doing everything he can to keep the momentum up at this point. Now heading into the Crocodile S, he does look for the inside line on Domingo. Couldn't get the pass. This is a battle for 13th, 14th, and 15th. Our closest fight on circuit is between these three that are leaving it all out on the track here today for the MSA Africa Cup Esports, the first MSA Africa Cup Esports, and signed off by the FIA, brought to you by all the ASNs in Africa, brought to you by Motorsport South Africa. A big thank you to our sponsors, our service sponsors, being the likes of RaceFace.Pro, and our stewards sponsored by our team brought by Zodiac Racing community. They've gone through all the necessary training through Motorsport South Africa. So a big shout out to the initiative to try and get more and more stewards going and becoming more accredited and recognized under the MSA banner. So good to have that out there. Also our secondary sponsors, Monday Night Racing, Logistical Nightmare, OKLA being a part of it, along with Black Ribbon Simulations, all going and putting on a great show. Big thank you to all our secondary sponsors being a part of this amazing event, and hopefully more in the future will want to be part of this amazing event and be part of the legacy of the MSA Africa Cup Esports. And I'm getting reports that we do have one driver, Alexander, from the likes of Madagascar, going and saying, unfortunately running into connection issues and had to retire the car. So heart goes out to him, but still well done on the effort. SESA is pulling in the pits. Sean Skitter going to get past. Bernard Barkhuizen into the pits. He was running in 5th, so he is now trying to get himself in and out of the pits as quick as possible. Fafirs, Domingo, Sean Skitter all coming past, going and moving up a position. Michael Schultz as well in this. So Alexander, if you're watching us out, buddy, good to have you here. Unfortunate on the thing. Ronaldo Bursma with a stop-go 30-second penalty as well. So he's completed all these pit stops and a stop-go added on to that time. Oh man, we saw a race go from bad to worse in our pro-ams just, I would say, minutes ago. Not even, well, an hour ago at most. And well, that's just what we're seeing here. Zaesa into the pits. Sichers making his way around the circuit as well. It does look like Hannes van Wyk pulling into the pit. So a couple of guys doing it. Jordan Sherritt's into the pit. Cody Sherritt's into the pit. Luke Addison, Tariq Adam, our top 4 into the pits. That's going to allow Henry Mayer to keep going. So Henry Mayer is going to keep on the charge. And this is going to be a very, very interesting race between them. So Tariq Adam in the pit lane. Jordan Sherritt into the pit lane. Cody Sherritt. And it looks like others as well. Carl de Witt comes across the line. He puts himself into 2nd place. Paul Fenter puts himself into 3rd place. As Jordan Sherritt now exiting the pits, and you can see how busy it is out in the back there. You can see the likes of Zaesa also looking to climb out and get into the fight as well. Jude Neville getting past Jordan Sherritt as it stands. He's going to try and defend at the moment. So an outright charge between the two of them. Jordan now needing to try and get past Jude Neville, who at this point is racing for position, so he doesn't have to back down from the fight. And Jordan Sherritt is going to try and look for the inside line. Couldn't go for the pass just as yet. Jude doing everything he can to defend as much as possible. Jordan Sherritt, this is the first fight he's been in for this race. And Jude running out a little bit wide. Jordan now going up on the inside. Can he make it into the S's? Does so. Jude Neville just getting the launch and unfortunately couldn't hang on to that 5th place spot. A proper run for the orders, and this is the MSA Africa Cup Esports, and this event is built for the best in Africa to fight it out and represent their countries. So it's having the best of the best in Africa, and that's what we want to see more of. More guys coming from all across Africa to be part of this event and to be crowned the MSA Africa Cup Esports champion for 2024, and going forward we'll have a bit more. Jude Neville into the pits, Johan Krobler also making his way, Paul Fenter into the pits, and now it's starting to get a little bit spicy in terms of where the guys are going to go. Issam Domingo pulling into the pits as well, but a race that's going on. Chris Heineke and Mahath Musa, as Chris Heineke looks to pull in the pits as well. So just as we went to that battle, Heineke said, nope, saw Tim the cameraman, gonna back out of that one. Don't want to have commentators curse on me at this point. So ultimately, this is going to be a run. Tim the cameraman still catching the birds. You know, Tim the cameraman is one of these guys that will be taking photos of everyone at the Kruger National Park and all the animals, as we see cars coming into the pits once again, slowing themselves up and getting them ready to go. Cody Sherritt behind Sean Skitter. Sean Skitter fighting to hold that 3rd place position. Does look like Luke Addison in 5th place, going and dropping wheel on the dirt. Let's see how that's going to work out for him. Yellow flag being kicked in though, and we'll go to that shortly. But it does look like Cody's going to get the pass on Skitter. And Skitter outbraking himself at the top of Leo Corp and goes venturing off. That does throw him down the order. Yellow flags. And this was actually Johan Krobler exiting the pits. That it just gave us a quick yellow, so he was a little bit on the slow entry. Our Kyalami marshals in virtual form going and just warning the drivers that we've got a car a little bit slower ahead. Rejoining the circuit. Our unsung heroes, and we could see Fafirs going and making his way around as well. Jordan Sherritt up to 1st place, Caldervit into 2nd place, Cody Sherritt and Luke Addison going and chasing each other down. Tariq Adam in 5th position will be taking 4th. Sean Skitter into the box. Johan Kleinans will be keeping up the pace. He's going to launch his way up to the top. Caldervit is in the pits. Bernard Barkhazen, Sean Skitter losing out a run to Mahath Musa as he fights his way through. Henry Mayer trying to close down. That did look like Ronaldo Boersma, who is trying to chase down the Project Vapor driver. He's down in 30th. Jacques Vermillion in 9th position, also hoping to keep a bit of pace at the moment. This is a run for whose tyres are going to be on, because taking a look at the pit stop times, Jordan Sherritt's at 32.6, so he did put on a fresh bit of tyres. Cody Sherritt's put on new tyres. Luke Addison's put on new tyres. Tariq Adams' new set of tyres. Kleinans, only a splash and dash. Bernard Barkhazen has done a set of tyres. Mahath Musa, splash and dash. Henry Mayer, new tyres. Jacques Vermillion, new tyres. Carl de Witt, new tyres. Paul Fenter, new set of tyres as well. Jude Neville, also done a set of tyres. And Johan Krobler going and doing a bit of repair work and some tyres on his car. As we see Ronaldo Boersma getting yellow flags once again. He was a little bit slow, and our Kyalami marshals, he spun it. He spun it on the exit of Barbecue, and that's going into Sunset. And our Kyalami marshals going and waving the yellow flag, but Boersma just having a day to forget at this point in the world of sim racing, and will be thinking, well, what can I do? What's it gonna be? How can he dial his head in and get back into the fight? Everyone starting to open up the distances between one another to roughly about a second plus between everyone. Kleinans into the pits. Henry Mayer comes across the line and will be hoping to keep up the charge at this point. Jacques Vermillion also in 8th position. 39 minutes to go, and let's take a look through the running order. Jordan Sherritt out in 1st place. Cody Sherritt in 2nd place. Luke Addison in 3rd. Tariq Adam in 4th. Bernard Barkhuizen in 5th place. Mahayath Musa in 6th. 7th goes to Henry Mayer and Jacques Vermillion in 8th place currently. Carl de Witt in 9th. 10th place is Paul Fenter. Jude Neville in 11th. 12th is Johan Krobler. Verveers in 13th position. 14th is Hannes van Wyk. Isam Domingo coming across the line. He's in 15th position. Sean Schutter will be getting ahead. He moves himself into 16th position as Kleinans is still in the pit and waiting to get out. There he is, climbing out of the pits right now. And Chris Heineke will be getting side by side with him. They both will be venturing down into turn 2. And let's see what will happen. Heineke just getting the launch ahead. Kleinans going and having to come off the throttle there. SESA is in 19th position. Ryan Barrington-Smith in 20th. Michael Schultz in 21st. Enric Heisman in 22nd. 23rd, Cameron Bastos with Zai Esser onto the back of him. And Johan van der Merwe, Grant van Daly. And it does look like yellow flags again for the number 21 car of Ronaldo Bursma. And he actually came to a stop by the looks of it. So cold tires. And Bursma, Tim the cameraman, trying to catch all the views at this point. Ronaldo Bursma parking it on the fringes of the circuit. I think that's just to allow the rest of the field to go. But Bursma landing up with a problem. Sean Schutter, though, is with one of the problem, and that is a drive-through penalty that has been for track limits exceeded. And that is going to be a proper run on his part. So a bit of shake and bake coming in, and unfortunately Schutter definitely not going to be shaking and baking at this point. He is not going to be happy with that drive-through penalty. That is for track limits exceeded. Kleinans onto the back of Chris Heineke, keeping a very close run as they fight their way through. Nose to tail racing between them. Kleinans onto the back of Heineke as they get past the likes of Schutter, who needs to do a drive-through penalty and needs to do one final pit stop. Mahayath Musa, though, in 15th position in the BMW, has completed all his mandatory pit stops and is now in a race right the way through. Kleinans has completed all his mandatory pit stops. He launches past Chris Heineke and now is on the chase to Mahayath Musa. So the two of them will be in a fight all the way through for the last remaining 36 minutes and 52 seconds of this race for the MSA Africa Cup Esports. And everyone waiting to see how the race is going to transpire, what's going to work. Zai Esser getting into a bit of contact with Cameron de Bastos, and it does look like one of the Genesis cars also nearly being involved in that incident. Let's see if we can go back 30 seconds. Esser, who is now stuck between 2nd and 3rd, and that is Cody Sherritt and Luke Addison. They go for the pass on Cameron de Bastos into turn 2. Esser tries to also capitalize on this advantage. Lines up side by side, and Cameron with nowhere to go. Sandwiched between the middle and gets a slight turn. Esser getting a slight turnaround, and unfortunately does hurt his rear tires a little bit there, but still keeping up a bit of fight. The WCR Speed Juice coaching car still in a battle of no, trying to pull himself out of the bottom and get back into the top runs. He wants to really take the fight to it. Cameron de Bastos, who is just ahead of him. These two did come to blows. Now it's all out once again. Ryan Barrington-Smith into the pits, getting himself sorted out, really trying to make his way around. And it does look like a couple of cars dropping a wheel onto the dirt, and that might have been Tariq Adam that is losing a bit of time by dropping wheel on the dirt. Johan Kleinans trying to make up some time, but Zai Esser immediately onto the back of Cameron de Bastos, and he's going to do everything he can. Johan van der Merwe, though, is also looking to close down the difference between the two as Esser dives up on the inside. Little bit of contact between the two. Oh! Secondary contact coming in there with Cameron de Bastos and Zai Esser coming to blows with one another again. And that has allowed Johan van der Merwe to get past, and Johan saying, okay, well, I'm going to just get past you guys here, and you continue your fight. Cool, a little bit of argy-bargy work coming out of there for both drivers as they're trying to figure out how to get their way around the circuit. Johan van der Merwe now part of this 3-car train, and will need to figure out how he can get past Cameron Bastos, who's not going to back down from the fight. Zaesa also looking to close up a distance. He's getting boxed in a little bit as they head up to Leeuwkop. He does look for the inside. Zaesa, big send on the inside. Oh, Cameron getting turned around though. And that, unfortunately, did not work out in the favor of Cameron Bastos. Zaesa getting the jump on it, and van der Merwe having to climb on the anchors. That did allow Henrik Sikkers to get onto the back of him. So, not ideal situations going on. Cameron Bastos trying to rejoin the circuit. Grant also having a little bit of contact there. Let's see, maybe just a slight nudge that came into play, because it didn't look like he lost too much time in that little bit. I think he ran into a bit of a situation. Oh yeah, just got pincered between a slow-moving Cameron Bastos and also Bernard Barkhuizen trying to make his way around. So, bit of arriving on a scene of a problem, and unfortunately that was contact between the two. Heated battles coming into play. Luke Addison and Tariq Adams still keeping close to one another, and it does look like one of our Porsches, that might be Heisman, going and moving out the way. Good to see him still keeping up the charge. He's in 21st position and is on the go. So, Henrik Sikkers now onto the back of Johan van der Merwe, looking to try and figure out what he can do. And I think that's what everyone's going and saying, well, it's time for Sugars to make up a bit of time, a nickname that's obviously been given. What a run for it. Proper race fight between these two, Johan van der Merwe and Sikkers, fighting it out. 32 minutes to go between the drivers. Ronaldo Boersma back in the pits once again. So Boersma back in the pits again, losing out a little bit of time. And he's served to stop go 32nd. He's done his pit stops. He's 4 laps down. And unfortunately back in the box once more. So not going to be a good run for him at this point. And definitely one to forget. So he's parked it in the pits. By the looks of it, Chris Heineke coming out of the pits will be getting ahead of behind Zaesa, van der Merwe and Henrik Sikkers, and rejoining at the back of this little train. Grant trying to make up some time as well, 3.9 seconds ahead. Henrik trying to fight it out with van der Merwe, not going to back down from the fight. Two of them going blow to blow with one another. But I do want to point out something very interesting though. Our top 14 still yet to do their final pit stops with 31 minutes to go. Then you've got Sean Skitter, who landed up serving a drive-through penalty, needing to do a pit stop. Heisman still needing to do one more. Fleming Bauer, who is still in the race. He has not completely retired out of the... Well, looks like he has retired. He's going to just wait it out at this point, and just watch all the action. Maybe provide a little bit of support for the team that is out fighting it into the top 10. So he's just keeping an eye on the battle. Closest battle on circuit is still Johan van der Merwe and Henrik Sikkers as it stands, 0.8 of a second between them. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is our feature race. This is our fastest of the fast, the top of Africa, fighting it out to walk away with crown. And so far, Jordan Sherritt is doing the job on that one with a 15-second gap over his brother Cody Sherritt. Luke Addison in third place, Tariq Adam in fourth, along with Bernard Barkhuizen in fifth place. Sixth place, Henry Meyer, Sharks Vermillion, Carl de Wet in eighth. Ninth is Paul Fenter, Jude Neville in 10th, Johan Grobler in 11th position. 12th is Verveers, Hannes van Wyk, Issam Domingo, Mahath Musa, Johan Kleinans, Sean Skitter, SES Hayes, Michael Schultz is having the likes of Hendrik Heisman in 20th position right behind him. Zar Esser closing the distance up as well. Johan van der Merwe with Ulrich Sichers in 23rd. Chris Heineke in 24th. 25th is Grant van Daly. Cameron de Bastos in the pits. Jason Farmer will be coming past him. Ryan Barrington-Smith as well looking to gain a position. Savasav will be looking to take on the charge. Ronaldo Boersma also trying to make up some time, and Fleming Bauer rounding out of everyone that is still participating in this race. Lots of drivers busy sitting, going, what can we do? What's going to be the strategies here? Others have pulled the pin on the hand grenade and have done all their pit stops, so they just got about keeping up the momentum at this point, fighting their way through of who's going to be able to close up the distance. Zar Esser now onto Hendrik Heisman, and Zar Esser, I think at this point, is seeing a bit of red, trying to carve his way through the field. Hasn't been a race for him to remember, but out on the charge to try and get past Heisman, who dives into the pit. So Zar Esser gets past and now looks to try and close up to Michael Schultz ahead of him. Michael has never been on the circuit with Zar Esser, so this is a very first between the two of them as they take their way around the circuit. Let's see how it's going to fight it out all the way through. Mahath Musa, though, for the Project Vapor team, dealing with Kleinans behind him. Kleinans going to keep forcing Musa into a mistake. Musa taking the trusty old BMW M4 GT3 and hoping that that will be enough to get him across the line into the top 15 and to walk away as top 15. Oh, Kleinans with a massive send into the door of Mahath Musa. Musa managing to get a bit of work. Skitter getting involved in the contact as well by the looks of it. Or did he lose it by himself? What happened? Did he come around and see the incident, or did that McLaren just kick out underneath him? Into the oh no, over the curb, and it was just timing that we saw the yellow flags being put out on both. Unfortunately, the curb throwing Skitter out, and that dumped him a little bit further down than he planned. All that momentum now having to try and regain. Ulrich Sichers on Johan van der Merwe. That's still a close battle that's happening. Oh man, it is just a proper run for our drivers. Everyone trying to figure out what's going to work for them. And Esser just not having a grand race at this point. I think there's a few drivers over the course of this weekend that will be thinking, it just hasn't been my time. Cameron de Bastos with a drive-through penalty. He's getting caught out for track limits exceeded. And that will just add on to everything that has gone on for him. Zar Esser up on the inside of SESA is trying to figure out how he can get past Essie at this point. That's Michael Schultz that's ahead of him. Not Essie, that's Michael Schultz. The two Porsches look very much alike. Zar Esser against Michael Schultz now trying to figure out where is it going to be the possibility of getting past. Into the toe, curving around. The Speed Juice Racing machine trying to keep some pace behind the Zodiac Racing Porsche as it stands, making their way into the S's. Going to be hard on the brakes. Michael Schultz just managing to lean it in. Does go over the curbs a little bit hard, bottoming out, throws himself out. And it is going to be a monstrous run. Side by side they go. Hard on the brakes. And Esser going to go around the outside through Learcorp. Can he get it sorted out? Now down the mine shaft they go. It is still side-by-side racing between the two of them. Not backing down from the fight. Esser's going to go into the ball late on the brakes. Michael could not fight that back. He's going to try and go out a little bit wider, and didn't work out. SESA so parks it into the dirt through Cheetah, and that is going to lose out a little bit of time. And I mean, let's go back 30 seconds to show you what getting it wrong through Cheetah can do. I think he was trying to mind out of the way for our front running pack, but unfortunately they just caught him on the wrong part of the circuit. And he goes for, oh no, that was straight over the sausage curb. and threw him into the dirt. So there wasn't even just keeping an eye on the racing behind him. He went over the curb, turned in a fraction too early, and unfortunately throwing him down the pack and losing out some time. Mahaith Musa up into 14th position, has completed all his pit stops. He is 10 seconds behind Issam Domingo, so at this point he will be looking to get past his fellow teammate. The Project Vapor team will be thinking, okay, Mahaith Musa has got the opportunity to get past. Will it be time for the likes of Issam Domingo to get into the pits and sort himself out, seeing how far Kleinons is, who's 12 seconds behind Mahaith Musa? So lots of thinking going in behind the scenes of the races. Our top 13 still yet to do their final pit stop of the race. 24 minutes to go at this point. And that is going to be a monumental run for them. Tariq Adam and Luke Addison still keeping close to one another, trying to figure out what's going to work for them. Michael Schultz losing out the gap to Zai Essa. That was 1.8 seconds now. It's just gone a little bit more. Sean Skitter back into the pits, getting himself sorted out. Ryan Barrington-Smith also into the pits, so he's waiting out. It looks like he ran into some technical difficulties there. That is not ideal for him as well. Honestly, great run from our drivers at the moment, showing off some phenomenal pace, quickest lap time of the race. Here's something out to you guys at home to give it a try and see if you can do it. We'd love to actually get some feedback if guys are able to get the lap time. So, to everyone out on Assetto Corsa Competizione at Kyalami, take an Aston Martin AMR V8 Vantage, the 2019 car, and go and do a 1:39.9 in that car at full race tank. And that's my challenge out to you, because I can tell you I'm nowhere near that. Even if I raced in the AMs, which were raced last night with Bertus Hugo took the win for that, Jean Leroux taking the win for our Pro-Ams, and they put in some absolutely amazing times. If I had to race in this Africa Cup, I can promise you I'll get told to get off the circuit because I'm too dangerous, being too slow. The world's fastest back marker just won't be able to catch this one. Ryan Barrington-Smith has retired the car. Looks like Ronaldo Boersma has kept himself going to try and get ahead of Barrington-Smith. Fleming Bowers unfortunately retired the car as well. Gaps starting to open up once again, and there is going to be a proper run. And just a couple of guys getting talked about. Brandon saying unfortunately they had a problem, one of the drivers where the pit limit had a malfunction, and that's where it came into play, going and throwing guys down the order, and wondering that might have been for Zaesa that landed in. Anyone guys asking a couple of why isn't there Hondas racing? Well, unfortunately the Hondas just not quite having the same pace that is needed to duke it out at this point. Heinrich Sickers fighting it out to try and close up on Van der Merwe for 20th position. This is starting to become one of our closest battles. That is Bernard Barkhuizen in the red Aston Martin, just ahead of the McLaren of Johan Van der Merwe. So Sickers trying to make a little bit of ground onto the back of Van der Merwe as they fight their way through. Ultimately, this is going to be a charge down to the wire for all our drivers. Our top 13 still needing to do the final pit stops at this stage of the race, with only 20 minutes and 40 seconds to go. By the end of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, we will be crowning our MSA Africa Cup Esports champion, and that is a recognition that is from MSA, from the ASNs, and also the FIA. It has a lot of weight to it if you can hold that title to your name. Sickers trying to close up on Van der Merwe through Cheetah, not having the easiest run there. Slowly but surely is going and clawing away at the option. So this is going to be a proper run. Jordan Sherritt out in first place. Cody Sherritt in second place. Luke Addison in third. Tariq Adam in fourth. Bernard Barkhuizen in fifth. Henry Mayer in sixth. Sharks Vermillion in 7th, 8th place is Carl de Wit, followed by Paul Fenter in 9th, 10th position as Johan Frobler at this stage of the game doing everything he can to keep within that top 10. Jude Neville in 11th position, 12th is Johan Verveers. Isam Domingo going and keeping a reasonable gap to Mahath Musa in 14th, 15th is Johan Kleinarts. Hannes van Wyk with SES Ace. It does look like a bit of a battle, as that may be Jordan Sherritt. No, that isn't. That might be Cody Sherritt. Yep, that is one of the Sherritts. That's Cody getting past. Just trying to figure out how he can get through as quick as possible, not to lose time and lose up a bit of gap to Luke Addison and Tariq Adam. He doesn't want to lose any time to them. He wants to keep the pace on. Bernard Barkhuizen fighting out Henry Mayer, and Jacques Vermillion still doing everything he can. We saw Jude Neville in 11th position. Verveers in 12th. 13th is Isam Domingo, followed by Mahath Musa, Johan Kleinans, Hannes van Wyk, SES Days, Zai Esser, Michael Schultz, Johan van der Merwe, Anrik Sichers in 21st. 22nd is Chris Haneke, Grant Findlay in 23rd. 24th, Jason Farmer, and Udrich Heisman in 25th, along with 26th is Savasav, Cameron Bastos in 27th. 28th is Sean Skitter, Ronaldo Bursma fighting it out. But it does look like Zai Esser has retired. Well, Zai Esser, no, has not retired. He is in 18th position. I've got a memory of a goldfish. He is trying to gain a bit of time to SES Days in the Porsche just ahead of him. So let's see how it's going to battle out. So, as our drivers fight their way through, remember, to get into this level, to get into the feature race, our drivers had to complete in the 2 weeks of a grading server, set their fastest lap times and their average lap times in a grading server. They had to put in 10 consecutive laps that are valid. That means no dropping a wheel on the dirt, no running over the curb too much, no going and pushing those track limits, because as soon as you invalidate, so you could do 9 laps and on your 10th lap you invalidate, that's it. You got to restart back from 1 and continue it through. So to be able to race at this pace, you had to not only be consistent in your driving, you not only had to push the boundaries of what you can do to go against the full 110 entries that were in. 85 were able to get that hot lap qualifying done in terms of consistency and put themselves into the positions from AM Division, which raced last night, our Pro-Am, which raced earlier today, and now our feature, the pros, the top of the top of Africa, fighting it out for one time only for 2024. This event is not going to be repeated this year. This is a single event. So if you want to walk away with the crown, it is now. If you want to walk away with the bragging rights, you had it in Pro-Am and in Am. But the crown for 2024 comes down to this. Who takes the checkered flag at the end of the race? Zai Esser up on the inside of SESA. So two of them going to go door to door with one another. SE trying to fight it out, drops a wheel on the dirt, tries to come back at Zai Esser, couldn't get it all sorted out. Esser managing to get a little bit more gap. Side by side they go once again into the Essers, and this is brave on both their parts. Well done to both drivers, leaning into one another, ensuring that they can try and get through. This is going to be a monumental race between them all. Essie looking for the inside line on Zai Esser, couldn't get the drive, and it does look like that might be Ronaldo Bursma who is in part of the fray. Yep, Ronaldo Bursma is going to try and unlap himself in this fight. I think with everything going on, he's going to just keep an eye on it. He has got the likes of Skitter behind him that is wanting to make up some time as well. So Zai Esser opening up the gap a little bit to SESA, and it does look like Ronaldo Bursma dropping a wheel off on the circuit and trying to make up some time. as that gap starts to open up a little bit more. Ulrich Sickers still on the back of the likes of Johan van der Merwe. And yeah, Jean Leroux going and actually pointing out the tongue twister. Essie and Essa in the S's and fight it out. Oh, did we lose connection? It looks like we may have lost connection, folks. Give me 2 seconds so we can get ourselves back in. Nope, we're back. So a little bit of a blip there, unfortunately. And we are back in racing. So Jordan Sherritt in first place, Cody Sherritt in second, Luke Addison in third, Tariq Adam in fourth, Bernard Barkhuis and Henry Mayer in sixth, Jacques Vermillion in seventh, Carl de Witt in eighth place, ninth is Paul Fenter, Johan Krobler in 10th, 11th Jude Neville, Fafirs in 12th, 13th is Issam Domingo, along with Mahath Musa, who's going to keep up the pace. Kleinans in 15th position, 16th, Hannes van Wyk, Zaar S in 17th, 18th is SES, Michael Schultz, Johan van der Merwe, Ulrich Sickers, Chris Heineke, Grant Finlay, along with Jason Farmer, Ulrich Heisman, Savasav, Sean Skitter, Cameron de Bastos trying to also make his way through as he's trying to make up some time, and Ronaldo Buersma in 29th position as it stands. And yeah, guys saying, was Tim the cameraman tripping over the fiber connection? It's quite possibly that you know, we just went and dropped it off the third story building at that point. I can tell you my heart just sunk into my stomach because there's not wanting to miss any of the action that we're seeing out on the circuit amongst all the drivers that are doing everything they can to keep it all together. Our top 13 still needing to pit 12 minutes and 56 seconds to go. It's anything that can go. And a lot of people jumping in. Thanos going and blipping everyone out of existence. Yeah, that was the snap. That was definitely the snap. And I think everyone went and got a big fright there, not wanting to miss out all the action that we're going for it. And to see the end of the race as well, because we will be going and saying, here is our champion for the MSA Africa Cup Esports by the end of this weekend, which is for 2024. A massive, massive charge. And a big thank you to all of our drivers. A big thank you to all the teams and also to our sponsors being part of this amazing event as we see it fight the way through. Van der Merwe duking out the Sickers. These two are having an absolute ding-dong battle between the two of them. Domingo now into the pits, getting himself sorted. That is going to allow Mahath Musa to move up a position. Kleinans as well. So Domingo first of the 13 to get himself sorted out. And now Sickers in the tow, trying to look for the inside through Cheetah. Not going to work out there. Not too much of a run. Bernard Barkhuis into the pits. No, what's happened to Bernard? What has happened to Bernard? That is rather strange. So Bernard Barkhuizen was getting himself all sorted out. And what happened to his car? In through Cheetah. Had a blip into the wall. Something disconnected. Something disconnected on Bernard Barkhuizen, and unfortunately went and landed him into the weeds. So Bernard Barkhuizen, who was on a proper charge, has now dropped out. My heavens. That is a gutting blow right to the end. I mean, 10 minutes and 38 seconds remaining, and Bernard Barkhuizen had something give up the ghost, and unfortunately that stuck him in the wall. That put him back out. He had no control on the car. It all looked like a turn off, possibly a full disconnect of the hardware, and also that dropped him out of the race. Oh man, that just, I think everyone at this point has had their heartstrings yanked on. Whether you're a driver, whether you're a spectator, but this is motorsport. This is what it is. You know, I hear so many people say, but this is virtual, so it's not the same. This is real racing out there. Yes, the cars are virtual, but everyone out on the circuit, everyone cheering along is going and saying, this is it. This is how you get it. You've got to march your way to the top. You've got to push it. The support is real. The racing is real. And I want to say out to everyone that's in the racing in real cars, if you think that sim racing is not in the real lines, I want you to take a look to everyone in there in the grandstands. Over the course of this weekend, the voices shouting at the top of their lungs, the voices supporting the drivers, going and ensuring that is it. The support is real. Go and ask any of the drivers that are puffing and panting by the end of this. Ask them, was the race real? Well, I can tell you what is going to be real. We're crowning a champion that's recognized by MSA and all the ASNs through Africa, that is recognized by the FIA. This is an event that has been signed off. Racing is real at the moment. Isam Domingo and Zar Essa are in this monster fight. Ramona Yonka, that's Ronaldo Bursma, not Ramona Yonka. He's actually races as well in a different category. Isam Domingo going around the outside. Essa trying to do for the cutback. Gets on the inside of the Project Vapor driver. The two of them going door to door with one another. Essa trying to fight it out. A little bit of a sharing paint between the two. The Project Vapor team and Zar Essa breaking into turn 2. Essa runs out wide. Domingo goes up on the inside. Couldn't get it all sorted out. And that is Ronaldo Bursma now trying to figure out how he can get past this little battle as he's losing a little bit of time. Skitter as well keeping an eye on this. And wow, just taking a look at Bernard Barkhuizen and saying, unfortunately, it looks like he had a problem on the GPU side, and that was a game crash completely. So the GPU overheated possibly. Oh man, that's gutting. That is absolutely gutting. There's nothing you can do. And with the temperatures that we have here in South Africa, reaching on to 34 degrees Celsius, well, I mean, anything can happen, especially with a race like this. 7 minutes to go though. Jordan Sherritt out in front, nearly 20 seconds ahead of Cody Sherritt. Luke Addison in third place. Tariq Adam giving everything he can. Henry Mayer in 5th position. Jacques Vermillion in 6th. And then we've got 7th place Carl DeWitt. Paul Fenter in 8th position. 9th is Johan Krobler. 10th is Jude Neville. And Fafirs in 11th. Still needing to do their mandatory pit stop. Guys that have done their pit stops. In 12th place, Mahath Musa, Johan Kleinans, and just saw yellow flag getting kicked up for Skitter, who lost it through the cheetah. And let's go back roughly about 30 seconds. He's on the back of Ronaldo Bursma. Blue flags ablaze as Skitter is laps ahead of Ronaldo Bursma, but just can't seem to get the same pace as him through the corners. And now this is coming up to Cheetah. Did he turn in a fraction too early? Yep, he did. There's the bounce off the curb. There's the slide. He's able to keep it out of the wall. But somebody go and check him. I think his shorts are now successfully changed color. Not quite an easy thing to deal with there. Henry Mayer into the pits. Jacques Vermillion now trying to make his way through. So Mayer will be looking to try and fight it out. And a couple of guys coming to the grandstands watching it out. We see Alan Patterson, who is one of the voices here in South Africa, going and giving a big shout out as well, saying unfortunate for Bernard Barkhuizen, just giving a bit of love out there. Alan being one of our fastest voices out in ACC, the fastest commentator in ACC in South Africa, and he can wear that title with pride, that's for certain. Paul Fenter in 8th position. Johan Krobler now starting to close down the distance, 1.8 seconds behind, doing everything he can to make up a bit of time. And this is going to be a monstrous run. So the drivers all making their way to the top. Krobler trying to close down. Domingo, though, pointing in the wrong direction. Domingo had a problem. What happened to Domingo? The Project Vapor driver doing everything he can into Crocodile, keeping it all together. Did that Aston get unsteady through Cheetah? Was this the problem? Oh no, contact with Ronaldo Boersma and into the wall, and Sean Skitter gets it as well on the return. Oh my word. That put Issam Domingo into the pits. The light touch on the rear, going and throwing him into the... Oh man. Oh, Jingos. What a run there. Wow. Hannes van Wyk, he's off on the circuit. He was fighting out with Zayesa. What happened to them? This is through Sunset. And now venturing into Clubhouse. All looking okay there. Essa a little bit far back, so I don't think Essa was part of the problem. I think, unfortunately, we saw Hannes van Wyk get a little bit of a tank slapper. This is into the S's. Over the curb. Gets it in. Oh, the rear just stepping out on that Aston Martin and losing out the drive. So Hannes van Wyk loses out the drive. Zayesa gains a position and moves up into 14th position. Proper running through the order. And I do want to point out, Henry Mayer has put himself into 7th position. He is currently the leader of everyone that has done their pit stops. Oh man, the heartstrings are getting yanked on here for the final 3 minutes. One more pit stop to go. Jordan Sherritt, Cody Sherritt, Luke Addison, Tariq Adam, Jacques Vermillion now pulling into the pits. He's going to get it sorted out. Carl de Wits is going to keep going. He's going to pull into the pits with only 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Paul Fenter still needing to pit. Johan Bego Krobler going and fighting out these two rivals. And both of them pulling into the pits. I think Paul Fenter and Krobler had the same idea and the same discussion at that point. Neville going to keep circulating. He's going to go one more lap. Will Fears do the same? Will he get it into the box? At this point, runs out a bit wide, and he dives into the box to try and go for the cut. So Jordan Sherritt now into the pits. Cody Sherritt, will he pull into the pits, or will he try and get the jump on Jordan Sherritt? Will Cody be able to lead at least one lap in the MSA Africa Cup Esports? Nope, he's into the pits. Luke Addison's into the pits. Tariq Adams into the pits. Henry Mayer, who is well behind them, unfortunately, I don't think can capitalize on the situation. He's up into 5th place as it stands. Jacques Vermillion in 6th place. Jude Neville, who is in 7th position, still needs to do one more run, and he needs to get one more in the pits. This is going to be a proper race for him, because will Jude Neville beat out Paul Fenter? These two have a running bet at the moment of which of the LNR cars, the Logistical Nightmare cars, will be able to finish on the top of the order. 1 minute and 13 seconds to go of this race. This is our featured division. This is the fastest in Africa that are fighting it out. Paul Fenter and Johan Krobler are going to take the fight to one another. They have come out of the pits nose to tail. Tim, the cameraman, please don't get it missing on this point, because with 52 seconds to go, it is an outright charge all the way down the order. Paul Fenter looking to hold on to that 9th place, and Johan Krobler hoping to take it away at this point. Jordan Sherritt, I got to get that one right, currently leading out 52 laps. We're waiting for Jim to tell us when our leader is on the final lap. Jude Neville now into the pits, and he will lose positions. He'll fall out of the top 10. Paul Fenter on the charge, doing everything he can. He's putting his foot into this, including going and putting his pinky toe to try and keep Krobler at bay. Krobler trying to fight against a wall at this point as Paul running out to the fringes of the circuit. John Sherritt comes across the line, taking the checkered flag. He just backed off right before the line. Cody Sherritt will be taking second place. Tariq Adam taking third place overall. Luke Addison in fourth place. Henry Mayer taking fifth. At this stage of the game, he just needs to keep the momentum up. But one race that everyone's keeping an eye out for is 8th and 9th. Paul Venter and Johan Krobler, who are looking to take this down to the line. The fight within the top 10. We saw our leader dominate this race, but now we are seeing within the top 10 a fight amongst friends that are going to do it. Will the wall of Paul Venter be able to stand against the onslaught of Johan Bago Krobler as they make their way through into the crocodile? Hard onto the brakes. Paul opening up the distance. He's able to get a little bit more of a run through Cheetah. Last corner to go into Ingwe. Paul Venter, I think, has done enough to keep Johan Bago Krobler at bay as they come out of Ingwe and across the line, 8th and 9th position. But ladies and gentlemen, checkered flag goes to Jordan Sherritt, Cody Sherritt. You can see excitement all around from the drivers as they fight their way through, and a little bit of everything going on. So, what a run there for our drivers. My heavens, what a race. Whew, I am out of breath on that one. We're going to see if we can get our drivers to come to the commentary box and come and do an interview with us. It would be an absolute great stuff. And if we can get Jordan Sherritt, the winner of the entire MSA Africa Cup for 2024, the fastest African racing. Let's see what he can do. So we're just waiting for a couple of the drivers to come pop into the commentary waiting. So for anyone that's out there that's the team leaders for Genesis, please tell Jordan Sherritt, Cody Sherritt, and Tariq Adam to please come to the commentary waiting box. But what a weekend, folks. What a race it has been. And I mean, if this is how the racing's been, if you want to see why Africa is part of the fastest in sim racing, well, let's see how you're going to do amongst the world. And see a couple of guys jumping into the box. So let's bring in Tariq Adam, who came in third place. Tariq Adam, welcome to the commentary box. Been a while since you and I have been on the microphone together. How are you feeling with that one? Third place, Luke Addison gave you a real run for your money for quite the substantial start of the race. But I mean, third place, fastest of the sim races in Africa. I'm sure you're going to be smiling with that. You're third fastest of everyone in Africa. I'm sure you're smiling with that one.
Yeah, it was definitely good. A good team result as well for us. We were all very close, myself, Cody, and Luke, in pace, so it was quite a tough race. In the first stint, I got 3 track cut warnings, and then I kind of went off and was about to get a drive-through, and then I had to back off, and then Luke came through, so I was quite upset with that. But yeah, it was my own mistake, and then luckily I somehow managed to get him in the pit stops in the end.
And you also kept a fair amount of pressure onto Cody the whole way through, even showing your nose once, twice, 3 times more, just to say, hey, listen, if you're going to slack off, I'm going to come past you. Was there a bit of like a chat to saying, listen, you've got to keep the pace up?
No, 100%. I told him that Luke was catching. Let's try and get the pace up. His tires were dropping. Mine was still a bit better, but in general, our pace was pretty much the same. But yeah, we were kind of just keeping it clean. Didn't want to cause any incidents between each other, so we just kept it as is.
Well done, well done. Third place overall for the MSA Africa Cup Esports for 2024. The team doing a really fantastic job bringing in the fights. But how are you feeling now that it's all done, it's over, you've hit this point in the sim racing career and looking forward to more throughout the year? What's the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, our game plan for the team is just to keep pushing each other, doing the best we can, take it to the international stage, and compete against the top. So it's a big team effort from our side, Genesis, to push each other and do the best that we can.
So proper running there. Tariq Adam, third place in our feature race. Thank you very much, Tariq. Glad having a chat to you. We're going to bring in Cody Sherritt and have a chat to him.
Cool. Thank you guys for hosting the event as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. All right, moving with Cody Sherritt, second of it. Cody, second of the fastest in Africa. You got to be on the track with your brother Jordan, but ultimately you had a lot of pressure from behind with your team going and trying to eke you along. But how does it feel? Second fastest in Africa for the MSA Africa Cup Esports for 2024.
Yeah, it feels good. Obviously, I'd like to be up top, but yeah, no one's gonna beat my brother. So I'll take second place.
I think going and saying no one's going to beat, I think the operative word is at the moment. This time he won. Next time, I think it's going to be a different story because let's be honest here, you've got the pace to do it and you can make up some valuable time. So it's good to see that you've gone and improved. You've gone and improved yourself. You're saying, look, I want to get to the top here. And I do think Jordan might have won it this time. But going forward, I think we may see a different story there.
Yeah, maybe I hope so one day in the future. But I think more than likely I need a bit of luck on my side. But yeah, for the moment I'm slowly closing the gap, and hopefully one day I go over it.
I think you did a fantastic job out there. Cody, well done on the race. Second place in the MSA Africa Cup for esports for 2024, a event that is really putting a proper mark on it all. Well done on the racing, and I look forward to seeing how you do come this year for 2024 and all the championships. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the end of the year with everything going on.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, bringing in Jordan Sherritt. Jordan Sherritt, the very first time I think you and I ever spoke was in 2020, years back. But I can officially say that you are the MSA Africa Cup Esports champion for 2024. You're the fastest in Africa for this race for ACC. I mean, how are you feeling with that? Taking home a title that is a bit more on, well, the same continent because you've been racing overseas.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Can't really, I mean, for Africa, it's probably the biggest title you can get, so I'm very happy about that. It's finally nice to win again after my last year. It was quite unlucky with a lot of things in my international career. So this is great to come back and get it done.
Well, I've got to say, it was a proper race out there. You dominated, but it did look like getting through the traffic was the trickiest part for you because you were amongst different battles the whole time. When you had clean air, it was great, but every time you caught up to cars, they were in a 2-3 car fight. I mean, what was the game plan of trying to work around them?
I think you just gotta like watch the situation and sort of if they're battling diving, and most of the times the guys were quite good at like in getting out the way, so it didn't make my life that difficult. I had to be patient sometimes, but most of the times it was pretty smooth sailing. I mean, the one time I think twice I almost got taken out. I think guys just weren't aware and they made a mistake, so they almost hit my rear. But overall it was very good. Pretty happy about that.
Jordan, to everyone watching around the world from the world of sim racing, this is a staple. This is out with the FIA as well. To all the aspiring sim racers that have gone and watched this and said, look, I want to go and get myself a steering. I want to come into the race. I want to be able to compete with the top drivers. Do you have any passing advice that you can give to the younger generation that's going to soon be coming in?
Yeah, sure. You know, when I started sim racing, I was never the best. I had to work my way and had idols. Like, for example, one of them was Zahir back in the day, because he was extremely fast. There's a few international people that I used to look up to. And, you know, we all start from somewhere, and the only way you can get better is to drive and practice more and want it. So if you want it, and you have the time and effort, and you want to put the work towards it, and try and aspire and learn from people, you know, if you don't ask, you never know. And that's sort of, in sim racing, is quite vital to improving as a driver, because advice from people who are better from you, or better than you, goes a long way. So sort of just get in, try hard, practice a lot, look and see what we're doing. For example, like, compare yourself to me, and slowly but surely you'll get there. And nothing's impossible. I'm easily beatable, trust me, if people put in the work. So that's sort of my view on that.
No, that's absolutely grand. And I like saying that you're not undefeatable. You can always have someone that can always be a little bit quicker in the race. Well, as the champion for 2024, you managed to get this all sorted out. The floor is yours. Keep it PG-13, but everyone is waiting on a bated breath to hear the words of Jordan Sherritt. If you would like to put a challenge out there, if you'd like to go and thank anyone, the floor is yours. The winner of the MSA.
Thank you. Firstly, I want to say thanks to Genesis for providing me the opportunity to drive in this event for their team. So that's first. And obviously, congrats to my brother and the team. My brother's coming along slowly but surely. I kind of want him to come and beat me, you know, so I'm waiting for that day. Yeah, not much else. Just thanks to the organizers, thanks to MSA for providing this platform that we can race on. And yeah, thanks to all the viewers who stayed and watched. And thanks to all the opponents on the grid.
Absolutely.
And yourself, Stephen.
I'm just the noise. I'm the one that you mute the stream and you put the music on. Let's be honest. But Jordan, thank you so much for joining us in the commentary box. Thank you for all the kind words, and congratulations on being the fastest African in sim racing. And what a title to carry. Thank you very much, and taking the win for the inaugural MSA Africa Cup Esports. So our chat with Jordan Sherritt there, going and saying well done, and great thank you to all the team. Big thank you to all our sponsors that made this happen. Big thank you Black Ribbon Simulations, Zodiac Racing, RaceFace.Pro, OKLA, and also the likes of Genesis Esports being a part of the MSA Sim Racing Work Group, Monday Night Racing from also putting in the effort, RaceFace.Pro being the sponsors of our service, Zodiac Racing having the stewards being sponsored, which is great. And well, big thank you to Motorsport South Africa, to all the ASNs of Africa, and also to the FIA for allowing us to put this spectacular event. But I think the most important thanks has to go out to you all, the spectators, the drivers, the teams, the family members, everyone that stuck through this event to make it happen. A big thank you to all our officials that are working frantically behind the scenes to make it all happen. But to you guys, the sim racers, the future generations, the drivers, and also the challenge to all the drivers racing in the real world that aren't too sure about sim racing. Well, the racing's real. You've seen some side-by-side action, and I challenge you to get a 139 around Kyalami in an Aston Martin GT3. That ain't going to be easy. Let me tell you that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us this entire weekend. Big thank you to you all, and we will see you next time. Keep an eye down in the comments, in the description. We have the sim racing website brought to you by MSA. Go and take a look. We got lots of events running, championships that are recognized under the MSA umbrella, and you do want to go check them out. Whether you're a big fan of single-seater racing, karting, or even like seeing the GT3 racing, go and join up and be a part of it, because we will be crowning MSA champions by the end of the year for sim racing here in South Africa. Also, please do follow all the ASNs and their social medias up through Africa, not only Motorsport South Africa, because there is tons of racing. Big thank you to all our competitors coming from across Africa to do battle in this amazing event. My name is Stephen Koenig, and for the final time for the weekend, folks, I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.